So now we're back together, and I'm going to talk to you about the Academy. And I'm incredibly proud of this online platform because it allows parents and educators to take in content on autism and SPED at their own pace. So, the Academy is your go to learning platform on all things autism. If you are a parent who has a child in SPED spaces, or if you are a teacher of special education or a general education teacher, then you're familiar with how schools segregate children. This is not a secret. This is done by design. And we're not going to discuss that right now, but we will talk about traditional SPED spaces and co teaching spaces. So, where are we today in education with respect to SPED? You have traditional dedicated SPED spaces and you have some co-teaching spaces, emphasis on some. And what we want are co-teaching spaces where there is collaborative planning and teaching taking place. And this is the work that SPED teachers have been dedicated to doing for decades. We are very vocal in saying we want our students in co-teaching spaces. In fact, a great majority of our students should be in co-teaching spaces because that's the goal. That's where we want to be, and that's where we should be in public education. Now let's look at a profile of a SPED classroom. And that's a traditional SPED classroom, and that's fine for some students, but what we know and what the research bears out is that collaborative teaching and planning is best because the child has the opportunity to be with their non-disabled peers. And general education teachers are able to receive direction from an education specialist on how to differentiate instruction, implement SPED strategies with fidelity, and effectively teach their students. What I would tell gen ed teachers is that you have SPED students in your class, they just haven't been identified yet. And they may never be identified because if a parent won't let you assess their child for SPED services, then you can't do it. So working with a teacher of special education is beneficial to you, the teacher, and your students who need SPED support. I want you to remember the general education teacher does not have the training to effectively teach neurodiverse children. Their training is for neurotypical learners. Therefore, students and teachers need an education specialist in their programs, or they need to be co-planning and co-assessing with an education specialist, i.e. a SPED teacher. In other words, the gen ed teacher needs guidance.